Okay. Hey, Diego. How are
What's
you?
up? Doing pretty good. Back home here for the Independence Day holiday. Just chilling. I took a 2 hour nap about an hour ago. It's pretty good vibes out here. No,
Oh, so you're off for the whole week?
yeah. I'm off, but it's like a GM makes us take like a forced vacation, so we have to use our vacation days. We basically can't work this week, and they're like, then you have to use your vacation days. So it's not bad, right? Because obviously I'm getting to relax. But there's just a slightly negative side of it. But overall, pretty good. Been chilling. It's a good time.
Sweet. Yeah. I know most of the family's coming back, so I'm gonna make my way over to Illinois tomorrow.
Hmm.
It should be fun. Gotta do some stuff at work, but um, you know how it do. Summer day,
Yeah.
nothing to complain about. Lots of action in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like we were initially
Last
going to
night.
talk about like our favorite draft picks in the draft. We might
Oh,
have to put a
true.
damper on that till like summer league starts because the amount of
That's a
news
good
coming
idea.
out is just too big to ignore.
Yeah.
But yeah, shocking news all over the place. But some exciting growth from some teams like on paper. We'll see how well that translates.
Hmm.
The biggest theme I see here is a lot of people are trying to get to those 10-man rotations that OKC had
Yeah.
the quickest way possible. That's one of the main things I'm noticing for these moves. But whatever you noticed, I guess.
Big thing I've noticed is that um, what you have to do nowadays with this new CBA is you can't just sign guys. You can't like your player can't come up to you and be like, "I want this amount of money," and you can't say, "Oh, perfect. Yep, that's fine with me. I'll pay you whatever you want." You can't do that. And so I feel like I'm seeing a little bit here more as just players and teams working together. Like Kyrie Irving re-signed with the Mavs, and he didn't sign for his full max, but he signed a little bit less, so then we could sign D'Angelo Russell on the was the non-tax or the taxpayer MLE $5.7 million. So stuff like that. And that's one thing I've liked about this free agency so far is that it just feels. I mean, obviously we've had free agency where things have happened, but it feels like so much has happened, so many new things, and teams are like, well, they're looking in every nook and cranny for any advantage, and that's great. It's definitely fun. So it's been good so far. I just check my phone. I just every hour or so get a new notification, and a bunch of people getting money. Luke Cornett going to the Spurs for almost like 4 times what he's made so far in his career. That's awesome.
Wow.
So
It
yeah.
feels like every single team has a chance at
Uh
this
huh.
time of the
Yeah.
year, especially more so than in years past. Like it
Hmm.
feels like every person is live, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, we'll start with kind of an odd situation here. The Bucks going into this free agency season were like really financially strapped
Hmm.
now and in the future, where Giannis Antetokounmpo was closely monitoring the draft and free agency because that's going to determine like whether he stays in the Bucks or not. And
Yeah.
here's what they've done since then: they re-signed Kevin Porter, they re-signed Bob Portis, they re-signed Torian Prince, they re-signed Jericho Sims and Jerry Trump. They added Miles Turner, they added Gary
Crazy.
Harris, and Vasily Micic from the Hornets. But look at the names of the departures going on. Pat Connaughton traded to the Hornets. Damian Lillard waived to make room for Miles Turner. Brook
Yeah.
Lopez departs in free agency to the Clippers. What do you make of all of this? Because a lot is going on, and frankly, Giannis was pretty upset that
Oh.
Dame was waived. So I guess what do you make of this? Do you think this is a tenable situation for Giannis? Do you think the Bucks have to do more? Like where are you viewing this team?
Yeah, I didn't know Giannis wasn't happy about this, but if I was Giannis, I would be kind of ecstatic about it because never, unfortunately, never in the 2 years that Dame and Giannis played together, never did it really click. Never did both of them do what we were thinking they do when Dame got traded. We thought, oh, Dame, Giannis pick and roll. It Dame's gonna score so many points. This is the best player that either of them have been with ever, and it never really panned out. And the fact that Dame is only getting older, still has a whole year to recover. I feel like the Bucks avoided a gap year, and yeah, they didn't do anything amazing besides getting Miles Turner from one of their rival teams. I think it's really interesting. If I was Giannis, I'd be happy because now, one, the ball is really going to be in your hands, and two, we're getting back to that. We're getting back to that Giannis ball 2018, 2019, where Giannis, you have the ball, just run around. Guys are going to be open, dot them up, three balls, cuts, and that's how it's going to work. And I do love using guys that you weren't going to use, right? Pat Connaughton barely played. Trading him to the Hornets for a good point guard or even backup point guard, that's huge. Gary Harris, the big thing for the Bucks was they couldn't guard on the perimeter for their life. Now you have a good perimeter guy. I don't know if he'll start, but he's going to be out there. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of nice Brook left because he was really dropped off last year, and he's getting there. He's getting there in age. He's been on the team for I don't know 7 years, and I have nothing. I love Brook Lopez, but he's way better as a backup to Zubats in LA than as the starting center for the Bucks. And I think it's just interesting how they damed wave. They wave Dame in that way because, like I said, the Bucks had to find a way to do something. They could have just sat there twiddling their thumbs, like, "Oh no, I'm sad. I can't sign anyone because we have no space." No, they were like, "Well, let's see what the options are." And one of those options was letting Dame go, and I think it's the best for him. He can kind of be free and do what he wants, but now he can even go to another team. So even more exciting stuff in the future. I don't know if in the next year, because obviously he's out, but yeah, it's definitely interesting for the Bucks. Gets you
Uh,
slightly more hopeful for them.
yeah, I mean, from the Dame side of it, like obviously, well aware he's my favorite player,
Yep.
but you go traded from Portland, which you didn't want to do. Then you you got divorced. I don't
Yeah.
know where in that timeline it happened, but it happened around that time, seemingly because of the distance. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. There could have been a lot more that went into it. Things didn't go to plan first year because Giannis got hurt. You got hurt at different
Hmm.
stages. Then in the playoffs, you end up tearing your Achilles,
Hmm.
and now you get waived. Talk about a rough turn of events for a guy that's just wanting to continue his career path and wanting to prove people wrong and finally get that ring. That is rough. Um, but from the Bucks' perspective, are you sure you want to keep the ball in Giannis's hands all the time? Because
Yeah.
he's a good he's good at distributing the ball in the half court. But I don't know if I want him to take up the ball every time against ball pressure. Like when you think about what OKC and Indiana did. So I think the fact that they don't have a really startable point guard right now and have to have like Gary Harris flex out to a point guard,
Yeah.
Kevin Porter, like those guys, not ideal. Like I was hoping they could get a guy like Clarkson or like
Oh,
somebody
true.
that can maybe like a D'Angelo Russell that could have helped them like in some capacity, just like handle the ball. Um, so yeah, that's what concerns me with this team. I don't dislike the Miles Turner move. You had to do something with Brook Lopez leaving, and I'm very interested to see how the Kuzma, Antetokounmpo, and Turner trio works. But
Yeah.
is Giannis going to leave if like a Mike Conley doesn't leave Minnesota and like willing to go to Milwaukee or something like that? Like that's a very
Yeah.
interesting dilemma to deal with.
That's very interesting. I do. I think it's gonna be an interesting team just to watch for. I don't. There's definitely some upside, but I don't know. I don't know the extent of it, and I think it'll be fun. I saw Caitlin Cooper. She was one of these big Twitter accounts, I guess, but she runs like a Substack for Pacers or just in general basketball, but specifically the Pacers. And she tweeted like, well, on the Pacers starting lineup, Miles Turner was like the fourth best defender on that team on that lineup, and it's definitely interesting. But if that's an issue, that could be because he's definitely no Brook Lopez, I don't think, but he's a 7 footer with size, can shoot. So maybe they lean more offensively, but I'm interested to see where this goes.
Doesn't have that inside scoring ability that Lopez
Yeah,
did, but the outside shooting is still there and can block shots. So I think it'll be a natural fit. He and Giannis have been talking about teaming up together, like they wanted this to
yeah,
happen. So that part's nice. But I just wonder like how much of the lob threat abilities can you really explore with him, given
Yeah,
that you don't have a point guard. That will be very important, and um, it remains to be seen where they go with that. Do you go after Chris Paul? Like it's you gotta have to go after a bare
true.
minimum player, but a guy with a lot of
Yep.
experience to try and make all this work.
Yeah. And then last thing we talked about this before we started recording. But right, some people would say, well, why can't if the Bucks did this with Dame, why can't the Suns do this with Beal so they can get off his deal? Huh, rhyme. But anyway, yeah, that's a good idea. But the thing is, the Suns are already doing this with two other players. I think Nasir Little and some other guy. And so you only get a certain percent of the cap that you could stretch. And so with Beal's contract and those two already existing stretch contracts, it wouldn't be possible. The Bucks are actually able to do this by about $600,000, which is so close. Again, that wasn't something obvious that everyone like anyone could say, "Oh yeah, let's do that." No, it's something they looked into, and I think it's very the Bucks front office looked into. So a good look for his front office who yeah, if I had as far as I knew, I didn't think anything was gonna happen, and they were kind of cooked. But they're doing well, making moves, so that's nice.
Okay, yeah. If there's two teams we're going to rave about. But first off, the Atlanta Hawks are having quite the offseason. Started with a bang with a Kristaps Porzingis trade. Then
Yeah.
you got a Nikhil Alexander Walker in a 4-year deal, and then Luke Kennard in a 1-year deal. Solid additions. You lose Clint
Mm-hmm.
Capella, you lose Levert, you lose Lance, you lose Niang, you lose Matt. The Capella loss hurts a bit, but
Yeah.
overall, when I'm looking at Ricochet and like the new additions to the team, like um, just looking here, they could roll out a lineup next year of like Young, Dyson Daniels, Ricochet, Johnson, and Porzingis. When I look at those lineups, I'm like, that is that is crazy. That is
Yeah.
that is deadly. And you're a backup shooting now with Alexander and Kennard and a couple of young guys to be excited about. So top level and Okongwu too. Let's not forget about him.
Yeah.
Like now they're at least 8-9 deep, where I feel a lot better about their process as they try to crack the top four.
Yeah, this their new was he GM or something? Just basically this guy NC Sala, he's taken over. I think over from Landry Fields, and man, this has been a great offseason for him. I mean, you really take advantage of the fact that the Celtics really wanted to get rid of Porzingis some way somehow, and you're like, oh, I could help you with that. And I think that in all these moves in the trades mostly, you would think, oh, they've definitely lost pick capital. No, in the end, they gained picks. I don't know the specifics, but they've definitely gained picks. And it's just, I love the fact that around one of the worst defenders in the league, Trey Young, you now have Nikhil Alexander Walker with. I want to go. I'm going through the lineup. Okay. Nikhil Alexander Walker, Zachary Ricochet, Dyson Daniels, Clint Capella, or no, not Clint Capella
Okay.
anymore. Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, who can also shoot. Asa Newell, I think he's a good defender from what I think in my mind. Keaton Wallace, brother of Cason Wallace. So this is a great lineup defensively, and I think you could put like five trash or four trash cans around Trey Young, and he'll get the ball out to all of them. So he's definitely he can work with anything, and especially Porzingis giving them 3-point shooting. I know Nick can kind of shoot. I'm telling you guys, he can make some threes. So this offense not only gets slightly better, but the defense is just amazing. And as Zach Lowe does on all whenever he talks about the Hawks, he like caw like something like that. That's what they're doing. They're really cawing out here, doing cooking up stuff. This guy Ansel has got something interesting brewing. Yeah, that was kind of it for me. Very nice off season so far.
Man, Kakong is wild. But like
I know, right?
but considering the young guys you got with Daniels, Ricochet, and Johnson, like
Yeah.
they all need like Young is trying to sign a 4-year, $229 million supermax
Ooh.
contract, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
If they
guess.
didn't sign him, they don't have a primary creator for Daniels, Ricochet, and Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And with leading the league in 11.6 assists per game and playing off the ball more than he has in the past, I really think this is like a growing point from this past year to this year, where year to year, you're going to see this big jump in Trey Young. So, um,
Hmm.
yeah, if I were the Hawks, I would keep him at this point because now you've done a fantastic job building around him.
Yeah, man. I think it's the hardest part in the league now is right. You could just grab a group of guys and just say, yeah, this guy looks good, this guy looks good, but you could just do it haphazardly, not thinking about it, and you could have a team. Now they won't be good unless you're really lucky. Um, like how Nico lucked into the number one overall pick, although he will say it was part of the vision. Anywho, when you make a team, they have to work, and the hardest thing is deciding who you're going to build around. And for a time, like that's what every team has to do with their best players that they draft. You say, well, this guy's good, we like him, but can we build around him? What are we going to build around him? And it took the Hawks a while, and Eastern Conference Finals run to really understand it. But now that's what they've got, right? Trey Young, not defensive liability. Get guys who can defend around him, who can shoot, who some can handle the ball. I feel like that's something we'll see a bit more from Jalen Johnson this year. Is he's gonna create because he's so tall. He's fluid in his movement. I think I think the Hawks are an interesting team, and like we said, the East is wide open. The NBA in general is wide open, although the West is a bloodbath. But the Hawks saw it and they said, "Let's do it. Let's go all in. Let's put all our chips down and see what happens." Because why not, man? That no one said the Pacers were going to come out of the East last year, and they did that. So yeah, the East is going to be fun. I hope the standings are interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially what's going on, what happened with Tyrese and the Miles Turner leaving now. Like
Yeah. Like I don't want to say they're gone, but you have no Tyrese
those are two
Halliburton.
big pieces, man.
What are they even gonna do? So I guess Celtics and the last two Eastern Conference teams to make the finals just don't really matter. That I mean, you could even say three with the Heat and the Celtics, what makes it four. But yeah, so just going to the finals has not helped the Eastern Conference teams in the past 3 years.
I think it's just emblematic of a long season too, right? Wear
Yeah,
and tear on the body, but um, you know who will help this team go back to the finals? Cam Johnson, baby.
yeah.
Pod
Denver
pod
Nuggets
favorite ends up
is
getting
baby.
traded to the Nuggets. Get off your favorite MPJ contract, and what a move for the Nuggets. They go down from 78
Yeah.
million allocated to Porter to 44 million allocated to Johnson. You send a first round pick along with Michael Porter to make the move.
Hmm.
Lots of people on Twitter bash this trade, but honestly, if you look at like the spot up shooting
Yep.
and how Cam Johnson plays, better defender, better shooter,
Hmm.
um, very very underrated player, can get his own shot.
Yeah.
All of his looks like from Jokic are going to be crazy good, and you
Wide
still
open.
managed to keep Christian Brown, like, and all these guys, Peyton Watson,
Yeah.
the development guys. I love this move for the Nuggets. I really do. Um, and for the Nets, it's great for their salary and what they're looking for, but like,
Yeah.
look at all their first round picks and stuff. MPJ is just there to sell seats.
He
Sure.
literally is. I this is just this move alone. If they did nothing else, I'd be like, man, this new front office is cooking. Because we said there needs to be a trade. What's gonna happen? And the one thing I like, I think the Nuggets have come to terms that 2020 or 2032 first round pick is unprotected, and they said whatever, we're trading it. We have to trade it because either way, I think almost no matter what happens, this core of Jokic, Murray, Aaron Gordon, in 7 years, that they're not gonna be anywhere as good. That's gonna be over for sure, right? So the Nuggets
Right.
said most likely it's done. And if we don't have a chip by then, like either way that's gonna happen, and we have to get Jokic another chip. This is what we're doing to make sure that happens, and it shows such a dedication to Nikola to say we trust in you. We're gonna give you all the tools you need to bring us back to the promised land. So I love that for this team. And just all these other moves. I mean, you trade Dario Saric. I don't know how the Kings want Dario Saric. Cap space, maybe. but dude never played, and you're getting an amazing second center in Jonas Valanciunas. The gap between Zeke Naji, who I'd say was their best backup center this in the past 4 years for this team, to Jonas Valanciunas is insane. And another European big as well, which I think is interesting. I don't think his passing
Great
is really
rebounder.
that point that well. That as well. So, and do they play two big lineups? I don't know. That just came into my mind. That could be kind of crazy. We've seen it grow now, but yeah, and I mean you get Tim
I
Hardaway
don't see them
Jr.
doing it, but I could see them doing it at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
don't
I
know if
mean,
you watched Jonas on Toronto, but like Toronto Raptors, Jonas Valanciunas was something
yeah.
else.
I think it's crazy how many teams this guy's been on. He's been on the Raptor. I think he was drafted by the Raptors, traded to the Grizzlies, then to the Pelicans, then to the Wizards, then to the Kings, and now he's on the Nuggets. Just just a great
Just doing this tour around the
journeyman.
world.
Exactly. You can't not love Jonas Valanciunas. Anywho, last thing for this team, I talked about Tim Hardaway Jr. What is Westbrook going to do? I don't know. Don't really care, honestly. Dude, I don't even think they need Westbrook, to be honest, but they could resign him. Bruce Brown is so interesting.
That is huge for them.
It's so fun. It's like breaking up with your ex and then 3 months later being like, "Yo, let's hang out again." Like that's how it feels like. But I thought it was a slap. Like when I first started, I was like, "Wow, you guys look kind of stupid having to resign him." But so they avoided signing him for $22 million in 2023 for that year, to then this year signing him for only $3 million. So it's very interesting how they kind of saved a little bit and eventually get him back. But he's gonna be fun and he's gonna be a ball handler. I think he could take Westbrook's spot very easily.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Bruce Brown move should have never happened, like in the first
Hmm.
place. And I hate to say it, but like Mike Malone tried to tell you guys. And now that he's back, I think the Nuggets are back to title contention,
Yeah.
even though they don't have the depth that other teams have, because
Well.
they've made improvements at the fringes that they need to. Like you still got Peyton Watson, you still got Christian Brown,
Hmm.
you bring back Bruce Brown, then you got Cam Johnson. Like
Yeah.
those are just four interchangeable pieces you can surround yourself around the core you built. And now all you're missing is KCP coming back, and you'd be good to go.
Well, let's see. How many players do they even have that were like you have your starting lineup: Jamal Murray, I think Christian Brown, um, Cam Johnson slides into the starting spot, Aaron Gordon and Jokic. That's five guys. Then you have Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther probably gets some minutes. Jonas Valanciunas. Uh, I was at I was at 8, I think. Let me just oh dang it. Sorry about that. All right. Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench. I didn't talk about Bruce Brown at all. You're already at 10. You're at 10
Julian
guys.
Strawder.
Yeah, I mentioned him as well. You're at 10 guys right there that make up a good line. This is a really good, right? And I'm not even talking about Deron Holmes. I don't know how to say. Oh, Rashawn Holmes. Deron Holmes the second, who tore his ACL last year before the year even started. That could get you to 11. This is it's kind of scary. I mean, Jokic will Jokic, and he's got a good team to Jokic with, so scary for our other Western constituents. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for the way because the Nuggets are doing it the right way. I'm really shocked,
Hmm.
honestly, that Nets let go of Cam Johnson. Honestly. But after
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges last year, it's to be expected. But this is great for them retooling. They're in a completely different spot. Avoid the second apron, and
Hmm.
um, still have some financial flexibility. So, way to go,
Yeah.
Nuggets.
Yeah. And I guess in terms of MPJ, it's what I just said. Don't just give your player all the money they want. Have to sit down with them and say, we want to give you all this money, but we can't because of the rules. And if you want to play on a great team, let's help each other here. Not just, you want that? Yep, got it. There you go, signed. No worries. And then he had to get traded. So I don't think he's worth. He's not 2 times better than Cam Johnson, Michael Porter Jr. Right?
Yeah, everything all good. I was just trying to get my water bottle and got
I don't know.
butterfingers.
It'd be like
Turnovers, you
that.
know.
It do be like that. But I guess one last joke meme that had to do with this Cam Johnson MPJ situation. So there was a was it a reel? I don't really remember, but it was MPJ on podcast, and he's like, and so Homeland Security had to come to do. He was talking about some Diddy case, like Diddy or whatever. He's like, and Homeland Security had to come through, and then on the next slide it was Cam Johnson being like, yeah, it's so much harder to shoot when you're going to your right because your shooting shoulder is off, like it's not facing the rim, so you have to turn it midair while when you go left, it's already there. And I was like, that's good. That's who you want to be on your championship, on your contending roster. Guy who's I'm not saying MPJ isn't in love with the game, but like you can see the difference in priorities, you know?
He had to be convinced to like really, really pursue rebounding and stuff. And to his credit, he
Yeah.
did. But like,
Yeah.
you really want the players to be self-driven. So I think Cam Johnson, he plays the right way, has a high
Yeah.
IQ, perfect fit for what Denver needs.
Yeah. I'm
Still see the
excited.
Bulls going to get him, but great, great, great landing spot.
Yeah, he's
We
gotta
just want
he's
to go
gotta
with
average
this
around
18-year-old guy from France instead. So
Hey, he could be interesting. Wait, who is it? It was
Noah
Asenge. Asenge, yeah.
Senge.
He's gonna be he could be reasonable. I mean, center of the future. They since you couldn't get a Derek Queen,
Pelicans decided to trade up, man. What can you
Pelicans are crazy, man.
do?
Yeah,
You know who's not crazy? Houston.
crazy in a good way. Yeah,
That is what they've done. Do you think about the moves they just made in the past 2 days and then the Durant trade? You realize they could roll out a lineup of
God.
Amen Thompson, Tari
Mm-hmm.
Eason, Dorian Finney Smith,
Oh my
Jabari
God,
Smith, and Kevin Durant.
that's a crazy. Like, that's a diabolical. That's like
They literally
plotting.
could switch everything.
Oh,
Still have
yeah,
physicality, still have rim protection, still have switchability, and be aggressive where they're covering 94 feet.
I think it's definitely between them and the Hawks, but I really think the Rockets are just giving us a master class on what to do here. Because how did you get rid of your? I don't want to say the two worst players, but you got rid of guys that maybe weren't fully. I mean, Dylan Brooks was contributing pretty well, but Jalen Green wasn't, and you get Kevin Durant out of that. Not only do you get Kevin Durant, you signed Dorian Finney-Smith, just a perfect guy for this lineup. Get a third center in Clint Capella from the Hawks, and just re-sign everyone else. Everyone else is down pat, locked in. This is insane, and I guess I think it's crazy.
The only two people that lost is Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green because they traded them. They
Yeah,
add
and that
Clint Capella to give you size. They
yep,
get Kevin Durant, Dorian Finney-Smith. They keep Steven Adams. They keep Aaron Holiday. They keep Jabari
Jeff
Smith. They
Green.
keep Tate. They keep Fred Van Vliet. They add Jeff Green. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know how
so
many people they have on
interesting.
their roster, but it seems like it's 20. And the fact they're able to keep all of these guys is madness. I think the
Yeah,
age certainly helps, but
true.
they have as much depth as OKC right now,
Yeah,
and the talent, the top level, and combined with like the issues they've addressed with one player, while still be if you have Clint Capella and Steven Adams on the same team, you still have the physicality you need.
mm,
Like where Steven Adams was just wrecking the Warriors, and you still have that capability, but now you have better offense,
yeah.
and you just get in let go of your defense. So hats off. Hats off. Rockets might be having the best offseason in the league so far.
I think you have to say so because sure, Kevin Durant I kind of expected, right? We all heard about that. Clint Capella, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I guess that makes sense. Bro, the Dorian Finney-Smith signing is wild, and I heard online that this like Lakers guy was talking about that supposedly Rob Pelinka was spreading rumors that Dorian Finney-Smith's knee was messed up to try to dissuade other teams from signing him. Um, you get what you get, man. Doing some stuff like that, you do not
Playing
deserve to have
games.
that player anymore. Then
I'm
again, those
stopping everything though.
jeez,
I'm gonna be right
uh,
here.
yeah, just then again, all right, these are just rumors, but still, this this front office, man, I think it's Rafael Stone. Holy moly, some Gordon Ramsay, just grade A, 5 Michelin stars cooking out of this man. I can't get over it. Just this could be like you can't
The
tell
Udoka
me that
magic, bro.
the what?
It's the Udoka magic.
Yeah. You can't tell me this team isn't for sure in second in the West, at least like odds wise. Cuz this is a crazy team right now.
Yeah, it's let's look at this. So we didn't even talk about what Shengun, how much help he gets now. Like he pretty much has the entire key to the paint all himself. And if not, you just get a pull up with Kevin Durant on the side.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about the Amon Thompson and Kevin Durant duo.
Mhm.
Well, you should really be paying attention to the Shengun and Durant duo. Like
Yeah.
this is probably the best big that Kevin Durant has ever had to play with in his career.
True. Yeah.
He's the next thing to Jokic in the Western Conference with the way he plays, and Kevin Durant is going to be put in situations where the shots are going to be easier for him, and he's not going to have to do too much. And
Mhm.
at the same time, you got a veteran leader. You got a lot of veteran leaders now,
Yeah.
like on your lineup with KD, Clint, Fred Van like Dorian Finney-Smith technically, and then you got Steven Adams.
Yep.
And you got all this youth. So you got all this blend where you're really good right now.
Mhm.
You're really good in the future. You're set up well for the future. You don't have to pay any of your like first round assets because you have them all.
Yeah.
You just give up the second round picks. Rockets and OKC are here to stay for the long haul.
Yeah, man. I just taking it back how well this has gone for them. I would not have believed it if you told me this like 2 weeks ago. The KD trade believed, but getting Dorian Finney-Smith to me is just such a big pull. Yeah.
I just think getting off the Jalen Green like
Mm.
train as soon as they
Mm.
did, that was perfect time. When you see an underperforming player, you don't think can hit it under the bright lights.
Yeah.
Like that talk
Huge.
about a pivot. Like the way they pivoted because coming from being a Bulls fan, it's been rough. And I have to mince my words a bit because this is no disrespect to any of the players itself. It's more so the front office and their timing of things. It's just been terrible.
Mhm.
Looking big picture wise, you traded DeRozan, Levine, Alex Caruso, and Lonzo Ball.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
between all
Oh,
four of
wait.
them, you have not got the total value as a first round pick, a
Yeah.
single first round pick.
It's tough.
Because and you would have got a first round pick for Lonzo if you traded him last year. Now I believed in the talents at the time, um, but injury struck, and then like they just didn't commit to building enough defense on the roster, especially in the bigs, and that was
Yeah.
always their issue. Um, what the Rockets here did is they did not wait a year too late.
Mhm.
They made the move
No.
now,
Yeah.
and that is so refreshing to see. And the fact they willing to identify the Suns early as having financial problems and like willing to get out of it, very smart front office decision making.
Yeah. I guess since you brought up Lonzo Ball, I did want to talk about the Lonzo Ball Isaac Okoro trade. That was kind of insane to me. I mean, Isaac Okoro is a good player, and I get Lonzo doesn't play too much, but just a 1-for-1 trade, you don't get anything else back is kind of tough.
It's been the Bulls' theme, man, and it's not the issue. The issue is Vucevic.
Yeah, yeah, he's still on the team. I forgot.
How was he
I,
the last one to remain? Like it is, and Vucevic, as great as he is offensively, He's only gonna take you
don't.
so far because what's gonna happen in the
Yeah.
playoffs? You're gonna have guys that are gonna mismatch hunt, and who are they gonna mismatch hunt the most? Vucevic. It is literally him. You cannot help off of it. You traded away all your good defenders. Like, yeah, you. I don't know what the GM is doing, man. Like, I don't
It's
blame him
tough.
for getting off the players. I wouldn't have personally, but like the fact that Vucevic is still on the roster, and you think that's going to help you, nah. And
Yeah.
and this is not meant to be Vucevic slander. It's just meant like being a Bulls fan and being like, what do we physically need?
Yeah.
Like if we're trying to make a finals run, who are we likely going to see? OKC,
Honest.
Warriors, like Rockets. They all are going to
Us.
go after Vucevic down the stretch in a tight game.
Hmm.
Like we might have we might have the Josh Gitzler, but that was terrible nickname. I'll come with a better one.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I dropped it.
Um,
Yeah,
but
it's
no, that
tough.
was a bad one. But you might have Mr. Halfcourt himself. But
There you go.
if we have no defense, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'll just say Modest Buzelis makes things interesting. And you really, to win the lottery, you only need to win it once. So, and I'm not saying that's modest, but like you don't necessarily need to hit on like a bunch of dudes to make it work. You
That's
just
easy for you to say, Mr. Flag clapper.
gah, we've captured the flag and gotten D'Angelo Russell. So, not
They're in a
bad.
good spot. Um, you know who's not in a good spot?
Oh,
Mr. Former number one overall pick, DeAndre Ayton.
oh yeah, I forgot
Is
that
he
was the.
done?
I thought we
Is
were
this
done.
the end?
That's a very good question. I have no idea, man. It's just there's got to be something mentally going on because dude has all the tools. He's over 7 feet tall. People compared him to Shaq coming out of Arizona,
For the
and
mid-range jumper.
exactly, and you just don't want to put in the work. It's gotta be something mental. I hope he can figure it out and get on a team. I know the Lakers are itching to sign him. They can do that. The Lakers have really not done well, not signing a center when multiple other teams have done so. But yeah, I don't want it to be the end of Ayton just because I think in there's a good player. But if he doesn't want to go find that player, it might have to be the end. So
Think about the coaches he's kind of ran off, or like the teams that I've given up on. Monty Williams. The
yeah,
Suns have not been the same since they moved on from him. But
it's true.
like they would go at it at certain decisions. Like Monty would bench Aiden. Aiden was not happy about it. And
Yeah,
Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups is as player coach friendly as you can get.
yeah.
Champion, mind you.
I was gonna say
And
that. Yeah,
and you, even he got tired of Eden. And that like I think it was Kendrick Perkins who said this, but like if he gets tired of it, you're done. You're done.
yeah,
And I think you saw the writing on the wall when you draft Flingen last year, Young Hankton this year,
yeah.
and you trade for Drew Holiday to get the veteran leadership. You have no need for Aiden at that point
No, none
because
at
he
all.
was your veteran. And so when you got like Scoot, and then I know they just traded away Simons, but then you still have Avita, Kamara, Shin
Oh
Sharp,
yeah,
like, and then Klingon and Yang, like you're just trying to establish the right culture, and then still having Aiden in the roster with that is like that's not ideal. There's a quote I was reading in an article where it's like you can have bad plays but not bad ways, and
uh-huh.
when you hear reports that but let's see here, um,
Hmm.
let's see here, like DeAndre Aiden seeing himself as a cornerstone of the franchise just for being number one pick, big fish, being carefree and loud, blurting out songs and offhand comments in the locker room. And then when you have veterans rolling their eyes
Uh,
at you in the locker room, they're not taking you seriously. And um, and I think for Chauncey, this is like he's a great locker room presence. Like he's turned around Chris Anderson, J.R. Smith, when
yeah.
Rasheed Wallace. Like those are just a list of the guys. Like
Helped.
he's ingratiating himself with.
Yeah.
And if he can't get through to Ayton, like what makes you think LeBron James and JJ Redick will?
It's true. I pulled up his stats. My man is 7 feet tall, 250 pounds on Basketball Reference. Has attempted 1.5 free throws a game, which is almost his lowest, next to 1.4 the year prior. Shot 66% from the line. He did have 10 rebounds a game though, but it's just sad. He played 30 minutes a game, and these are okay stats. I just think earlier we've all seen the one where it snowed in Portland and he couldn't leave his house. Like, dog, I have to go leave my house when it snows to just do my engineering job, and I'm just like, dang, I guess that's how it is. Like, this dude gets to play in the NBA. He's like, yeah, no, don't really feel like it. So I hope if it's a mental thing, you can figure it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, you're never. I've heard people say this where it's just like when someone's like too like the opposite of humble, too arrogant. They're like they think their farts don't stink. Your farts will always stink. Well, not always, but like sometimes more than others. But they never won't stink. So just remember that, okay? Never
I'm
get too
not gonna
big.
get that picture out of my mind. Thanks, man.
No
Oh
problem.
my gosh, Diego. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just vile.
I'm struggling to segue off of it there.
You don't have
This-
to. We can leave it there. Never get too big for your britches. Just yeah. At the base, you're just a guy. Ain's just a guy, lost in lost in the sauce.
yeah. It's yeah. I mean, I'm just I I'd rather have Vucevic over him.
That's a crazy. I hope Ayton hears this and this helps him turn it around.
I
He's
know.
like Vucevic
I feel
over
like I'm
me.
coming across as a hater right now, but it's just like
I mean, we're not. If we come across as haters, the Portland Trailblazers absolutely just despise Ayton. Like,
yeah,
I think we're just pointing out things he has to do,
yeah.
but we're also not NBA players, so I
He
don't.
has
I
all
don't
the
know.
talent in the world, and it's just
It's true.
yeah. It's I don't know. I just don't know. And
Yeah.
wish him the best of luck. Hope he turns it around. Hope it becomes like a Baker Mayfield story. But it's
True. That is quite the story. Yeah.
like you
There's not
have all
much to
this
say on
promise.
that.
Number one pick, like Phoenix is counting
Yeah.
on you to help like turn it around. Not able to figure it out. And yeah,
Mm-mm.
are you going to be Baker Mayfield or Jamarcus Russell?
True. Just the one thing he can look back on is the valley oop in the 2021 Western Conference Finals against the Clippers. That was probably it's probably the highlight of his life there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know where you go from here. It's
No.
maybe you can join MPJ on the Nets,
Yo, yeah,
Cam
have some
Thomas,
fun.
and get all the shine you want without actually caring about winning a championship. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just play ball. Honestly, part of me, if I was a player, I might want that just because part of me just wants to shoot middies. Just shoot the most vile middies. Like Cam Thomas, just dribble up, pull up, midi. I just love the midi right now. I always do, so yeah, that was it.
One thought just occurred to me:
What?
the Warriors could make a move for him.
That would be wild. That would be a crazy move.
Think
Who are
about it.
they? I
Like
think they were
one
gonna.
last gas. You're next to Draymond Green, who's not going to take any
He's
shortage of
really
like
not.
dogging it. And Steph Curry, one of the nicest, almost unselfish superstars this league has ever
Yeah,
seen. And you got a dog like Jimmy Butler on the team. You're telling just lost Von Looney after like 10-year career.
that is kind of
Are you really
crazy.
telling me like this is not a prime opportunity for DeAndre Ayton to resurrect his career?
It's a good idea. Yeah, it's definitely sink or swim though. He's either gonna flourish or he's gonna drown, just completely drown. But who knows? That's a good thought. I heard the Warriors were thinking of getting Al Horford, which to me is kind of insane because he's old as dirt. No offense, Al Horford. He's also Hispanic. Is he Dominican? I think he's Dominican. His father's named Tito. He's from
Yeah, yeah.
the Dominican
He's
Republic.
either Yeah, Dominican Republic.
So pretty real there. But anywho, I love him, but I don't think the Warriors are already too old. But I guess that's their whole gimmick. Let's go everything we can to win, and they could. I don't think they will though. It's tough out here for them. Just accept your 4 championships and move along.
Man, I wish. I wish I wasn't stuck back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Alrighty. That will do it for us. We will postpone draft talk until like this craziness sorts itself out. Until then, you guys have a great 4th of July. Should be
Yep. Stay
exciting
safe.
stuff. Yes, stay safe. Not allowed to launch fireworks here in my apartment complex, but I'm looking
Dang.
forward to it. And till then, we'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys.
So yeah.